Hello everyone, this is Crota giving you a shoutcast between Jinro and Lucifron. Now, I believe this is a best of 3 matchup, but I don't know if this is game 1 or game 2. The first game that I casted was indeed on Steps of War, but I don't know the order of the games, and yeah. I'm not going to say anything else. Rather, coming back over here, we have Jinro spawning as the pink Terran player on the bottom left-hand side of Blistering Sands. Meanwhile, on the top right-hand side, we have Lucifron spawning as the yellow Terran player. So yellow versus pink here on Blistering Sands. No very fast, what's it called, barracks coming in from Lucifron. So no proxy barracks tactic coming in. Lucifron now getting that supply depot down, and now perhaps going to build this barracks over here in order to get this wall in. Perhaps going to build that barracks here and then finish off the wall in right there. So Lucifron still opening off with that standard wall in. Jinro, however, not getting a wall in. So a little surprised by this. Is probably game 1 now. Now that I think about it, as Jinro probably would have learned his lesson from the Steps of War game and built that supply depot on that ramp, as Terran players really like to build, or really should start choking off their walls even against other Terran players, especially when there's a high ground. On Kulos Ravine, it's probably not as important, as the range units are still able to see at that maximum 5 or 6 range with those Marauders and those Marines. However, with the single Marine or Marauder on this ramp, in order to offer sight on those buildings, you can really punish him for trying to get one of those units within range. SCV now coming out with Lucifron, gonna go ahead and meet the SCV of Jinro, both of them passing in the moment. And I forgot to change my pictures back to the 3D portraits. So if you guys are wondering why my 3D portraits are not moving, that's because they're actually 2D right now. Yeah, there is that single. That's the barracks being built, and there's a SCV barracks. That's a barracks character? I thought that would be a little bit swapped, just because it doesn't matter. Coming back over here, Command Center now being upgraded by Lucifron. Same thing for Jinro, so both players getting their Command Center at approximately the same time. And also we see Lucifron getting that refinery down. Taking a look, we do in fact have a reactor core. Okay, so I thought it was going to be a tech lab, but Lucifron, apparently hearing the cries of people saying that it is in fact just silly. Oh, very nicely done. Marine sitting there, able to finally see that SCV. No, not able to see that SCV. Very nicely done. So Lucifron hiding the SCV over here. No line of sight from that Marine. And now that in comes back that Marine. SCV trying to do a little bit more scouting before he's going to get taken down. Second Marine going to come in and shoot him in the back. Down it goes. And where at least there's no little drill, it's just a little bit of the shell of that SCV. Coming back over here, Jinro setting up a command center already. So Jinro doing a very gutsy command center very early in the game in order to try to get that economic advantage. Coming back over here, double producing Marines and now getting a factory. So perhaps if the factory does in fact lift off, we'll be able to produce double Hellions. Taking a look back over here, I do not see any tech labs on Jinro's barracks, so I do not think I'm thinking that Lucifron is going to think about lifting off and try to start producing Hellions. That does not seem to be the case, as he's still mass producing Marines. Factory now going to perhaps drop down a tech lab, so he's in fact going for siege tanks. Hellions would also have been a good option at this stage in the game, as there are no tech labs on any of these buildings, so it's going to be mass Marines at this stage. So taking a look back over here, 5 Marines running back and forth, now get up to 7. So 7 Marines. Taking a look at the army sizes, we have Lucifron sitting at 500, so he has 8 Marines again, 10 Marines compared to the 9 Marines of Jinro. Taking a look back over here, that should be right. Yeah, no, 7 versus 6. Does it count production units? It shouldn't. Nope. So where is the rest of those coming from? Perhaps, I don't know, that's a little strange. I don't see any bunkers down. It doesn't matter. Coming back over here, Marines gonna go ahead and activate this Zelnaga watchtower. Marines also moving down to this low ground, so Lucifron now getting sight on his natural expansion, wanting to make sure of massing a lot of Marines now. That is now a dozen, or a little bit less than a dozen Marines now moving out. And we also have a secondary orbital command, so Jinro gonna go ahead and take the economic advantage. Already sitting at 23 harvesters, gonna be able to also get more mules as well. Marines now moving out, and Jinro now getting those necessary Marauders. So a single Siege Tank. SCVs also moving out, so Lucifron bringing out those SCVs. Siege Tank research will be done in time by the time that those units get there. More Marines coming in to bring up the rear, and now still more Marines being trained. Lucifron saying 45 for some reason, not quite sure why, as that orbital command now being lifted off. So that was a little bit of a strange move. Perhaps he's going to try to take down... No, he cannot mine out of this high yield mineral location, so perhaps try to mine out of here. That'd be a really dangerous maneuver. Anyways, coming in, we have a siege tank on that low ground. SCVs trying to shoot, or trying to fusion cutter their way through that barracks, and that barracks will in fact get taken down. SCVs trying to pull back. There is a single siege tank within range, and those Marauders dangerously staying out of that range of that single siege tank. That siege tank just far enough away. Marauders with that range of 6 able to deal a fair amount of damage, and one of those Marauders taking a little bit of that hit. Secondary siege tank perhaps should be moved up just a little bit, and then the siege tank gonna go ahead and head up that ramp. So one siege tank there, second siege tank there, and that's gonna be too much. Jinro really needs to try to focus down those siege tanks, but with the number of Marines sitting in there, they cannot just simply do a run by and try to take out those Marines. Coming back over here, siege tanks now just laying shells on top of those barracks, and all Jinro can really do is just try to pull to the back. Not sure why he doesn't lift off this barracks, and instead of building another one down over here, perhaps thinking that those Marines would be able to finish off that barracks will in fact produce a single Marauder before it starts to burn down. But now getting taken down, and Jinro says GG once again. Perhaps another rage quit, as Lucifron has taken these games 2-0, and I believe what is a best of 3 matchup. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. I hope you guys enjoyed this replay here from Blistering Sands.